Hello and welcome to this episode of 180 Not Out. I'm your host, Raman Raheja, a fan of cricket just like you and 2.5 billion others. In today's episode, listen to your favorite cricket legends talk about how domestic cricket has changed over the years, how the IPL changed cricket forever, and how T20 leagues are getting popular all over the world.
But I think 2005 New Zealand played Australia in the first ever 2020 international, and I think that just snowballed from there. 2007 World Cup, India winning, IPL to where it is now. A lot has changed.
During that time, you need to go through stages to come up. Now what can happen that if you play one IPL, you can get an entry to international team as well, Indian team, which is I think has become easier. We all need to make sure that we find some sort of ground that we don't get excited for just one season for any kind of player.
लीग हमेशा अच्छी बात है, बट हम ये ना भूले कि जिस चीज़ से हमें पहचान मिली है वो कंट्री है. तो कंट्री इज ऑलवेज फर्स्ट. अगर फ्री टाइम मिलता है, बीच में गैप है, लीग्स हो रहे हैं, तो मैं चाहता हूँ कि कोई भी वो लीग मिस ना करे.
It's a bit more easier to get into international cricket. A lot of guys get more easy opportunity now because I think with the T20 as well, you kind of have that ratio where, players lean in more to franchise cricket.
For players, there are many opportunities now. So, but I think country has become ahead. It has to come number one because that jersey, that feeling, you will never get that from any other jersey. So I feel that.
God of cricket, Sachin Tendulkar, recently said, and I quote, "Throughout my career, I remained passionate about playing for Mumbai whenever I had the opportunity. When Indian players turn up for their domestic teams, it raises the quality of play for youngsters and sometimes new talent is identified. It also gives the national players a chance to sometimes rediscover the basics." Very well said, Tendulkar Saab. Domestic cricket is perhaps the most important proving ground for the players before they make it to the big leagues of the world cricket. In India, we've got a number of these domestic circuits at various levels. We see about 1800 plus matches every year in the Indian domestic circuit, perhaps the most in any cricket playing country. Cricket icons, till about last decade, had to go through the domestic circuit to rise up the level of playing international cricket. There were no shortcuts till the advent of IPL. Well, that's a different story, which we will discuss in more detail a little later. While talking to some legends, I heard about how highly they spoke about domestic cricket in India or outside India. This is what Irfan Pathan said.
If you want to play for Baroda, Ranji Trophy, because at that time only one Indian team was there, no IPL. You either play Ranji Trophy, Dilip Trophy, or play for India under 19 and then go to international level. And that's the only aim we had. Now things have changed. And during that time, you need to go through stages to come up. Now what can happen that if you play one IPL, you can get an entry to international team as well, Indian team. Even despite I had a lot of fractures in my back in 2019. I played Dilip Trophy, I played Ranji Trophy, I played even Mushtaq Ali during that tournament, that season with the fractures. Unfortunately, we couldn't find out because of the scan had, only 1.5 Tesla machine, which we went to Australia at that time, and then we came to know with that better machine that I had so many fractures. Even though I had a scare that I might lose out on walking in the future, but I kept pushing myself with the painkillers because I wanted to play for him. So that priority was always there. When I came to Jammu Kashmir cricket as well for 2 years, my contract was about, I don't talk about money, but my contract was only 20% of the money which I was leaving. With the Caribbean Premier League, I had contract of Caribbean Premier League in my hand with the league. On top of whatever the franchise will pick me, the league had promised me a certain amount. Canada Premier League, T10 Premier League, I'm talking about 2018, and one more league. So there were 4 leagues, and compared to that, I was getting only 15 to 20% amount in JKC. So it was not about money. I wanted to give something back to cricket, Indian cricket that too. And I was glad that I took that decision.
And of course, Suresh Raina, Mr. IPL said,
I played a lot of first class cricket. मुझे याद है राहुल द्रविड़ ने, even my coach जो थे, वो हमेशा बोलते थे कि whenever you have done playing for country, जब भी आप वापस आते हो प्ले फर्स्ट क्लास में. क्योंकि मुझे 4 दिन वाले 5 दिन वाले आई प्लेड लॉट ऑफ टैमशिल ट्रॉफी मैचेस, मोनीदुल्ला कप, शीश महल ट्रॉफी, जो भी लीग मैचेस होते मैंने खेला. क्योंकि मुझे पता था कि आप जब तक 90 ओवर बैटिंग करोगे तो 20 ओवर का आपको आइडिया मिल जाएगा. तो आई ऑलवेज प्लेड डोमेस्टिक, क्योंकि उससे मुझे एक पता चला मेरा फोर स्टंप कहाँ पर है, मेरा बैट कैसे आ रहा है. आई वाज वाचिंग द बॉल फ्रॉम देयर. और रेड बॉल ने मेरा वाइट बॉल क्रिकेट बहुत इंप्रूव किया. दो आई डिडंट प्ले दैट बिग टेस्ट मैचेस, आई प्लेड 18 टेस्ट मैचेस और 17, बट 50 जो तरीका है वो बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है. 90 ओवर के बाद आप खेलते हो 50 ओवर, फिर उसके बाद 40 ओवर भी खेले लीग के मैचेस. बट जो जितने मैचेस उन्होंने बड़ा इंप्रूव किया. तो जो भी यंगस्टर अगर ये इंटरव्यू सुन रहा है, प्लीज डू प्ले फर्स्ट क्लास क्रिकेट, इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. और आपको बैटिंग हो, जो स्पेल होते हैं ना, अभी 2 ओवर डाले 4, जो 15 ओवर का स्पेल डालना, आपको उसके लिए 2 दिन अच्छा सोना है, ट्रेनिंग करनी है. फर्स्ट क्लास का अलग ही मजा था.
it's not surprising that county cricket in England is the oldest form of domestic cricket league, having formally been around since 1890 and has been the backbone of not just English cricket, but has also helped global greats, iconic Indian cricketers such as Sunil Gavaskar, Sachin Tendulkar, Mohammad Azharuddin, Dravid, Ganguly, Kumble, to name just a few, have all been part of county teams at various stages of their careers. Over the 134-year-old journey of county cricket so far, even this format of the game has seen various changes. Here is what Ryan Sidebottom, the English cricketer, someone who has been on the winning county side 5 times, has to say about this evolution.
When I first started, it was just mainly county cricket, and you played a little bit of one-day cricket amongst that. But now you've got so many different formats, and the entertainment is there. I think you see how many children are watching the game now. Boys and girls are taking up the sport, which is great. And yeah, I think for me, for every player, I'm sure they've all said the same, county cricket was the sounding block for me and my development to go on and to play international cricket, and then to play the shorter formats of the game. You know, it tests you technically, mentally, physically, which you need now to play, you know, T20s and 50 over cricket.
Recently, Indian cricket captain Rohit Sharma reiterated the importance of domestic cricket and said, I quote, "It is not just for few cricketers, it is for everyone to make sure that whenever you are available and fine, you should be able to play domestic cricket." Well, coming out of the captain of Indian cricket team, it has a lot of value. As most cricket legends agree, domestic cricket is the first stepping stone for success across cricket playing nations. Be it the Sheffield Shield in Australia or Quaid-e-Azam in Pakistan, these leagues have allowed new talent to shine year after year. However, as newer, faster, glitzier and more financially rewarding leagues emerge, is tradition finally giving way to modernity? Are players saving themselves to earn big money in the leagues instead of doing the hard work in domestic circuits? I won't disagree that money is important. Ask any cricket fan and they will tell you the Indian Premier League is by far the sport's biggest league. And as of recently, it is also the second biggest sporting league in the world in terms of economics. Second only to American NFL, the National Football League. How did it all begin? While T20 leagues have been around since 2003, no league has perhaps had as big an impact on cricket as IPL. After India's victory in the inaugural T20 World Cup in 2007, the IPL started off the next year to much fanfare. And how can we forget the first night? How it set the tone for the game. This is what Vikrant Gupta spoke about it.
दिल्ली में ताज पैलेस होटल में आईपीएल लॉन्च की गई, जहां तक मुझे याद पड़ता है सचिन तेंदुलकर थे, अनिल कुंबले थे, राहुल द्रविड़ हु इज द कैप्टन, और सौरव गांगुली. तो बड़ी अनाउंसमेंट्स हुई कि जी आईपीएल आ रहा है, ये होगा, वो होगा, ऐसा होगा, वैसा होगा. तो सौरभ मेरे साथ मेरी कार में बैठे, मैं उनको एयरपोर्ट छोड़ने गया, 20 मिनट का रास्ता था। मैंने कहा दादा आपको लगता है कि इतना बड़ा हो जाएगा आईपीएल? दादा ने कहा यार ये सब बातें हैं, कहाँ यार, मतलब पता नहीं, ये क्लब क्रिकेट। आपको एक और मैं बताता हूँ वाकया। टीवी चैनल्स के साथ आईपीएल का झगड़ा हो, आईपीएल ने कहा जी हम आपको फुटेज नहीं देंगे, तो एनबीए नेशनल ब्रॉडकास्टर्स एसोसिएशन ने ये कहा फिर हम कवर नहीं करेंगे। और पिछले 2 दिन से ये चल रहा है कि शायद आईपीएल की कवरेज मीडिया में नहीं होगी, बिकॉज जो सर्टेन डिमांड्स हैं वो मानी नहीं जा रही है। आपको मालूम है कि फ्रेंचाइजीज का इतना प्रेशर था, एंड ललित को खुद भी नहीं पता था कि ये आईपीएल कहाँ जाएगा कहाँ नहीं जाएगा। तो जो एनबीए के जो सीनियर लोग थे वो देवर इन बॉम्बे एक मीटिंग में, और वो मीटिंग सुबह 4 बजे खत्म हुई, जिसमें ये डिसाइड किया गया कि भाई जो फेयर यूजेज पॉलिसी में आप न्यूज चैनल्स को फुटेज देंगे। उसके बाद ब्रेंडन मैकलम आए। तो मैं जब अब व्हेन यू रोल बैक, अगर उस टाइम ब्रेंडन मैकलम ने 158 ना बनाए होते, उस टाइम पर न्यूज चैनल्स को इतनी आपने प्रायोरिटी और इतनी एक्सेस ना दी होती, तो शायद आज ये हालात ना होते।
And here is what the legendary New Zealand cricketer Ross Taylor had to say about IPL.
For New Zealand cricket especially, I think IPL was fantastic. We got to rub shoulders with the best players in the world. I was fortunate enough to get picked up in that first 2008 at Bangalore. Had 3 fantastic years there, playing with Dravid, Kumble, Callis, Boucher, Stain, world-class players. And I think, obviously not only myself, but a lot of the other New Zealand players were playing with Dhoni and Tendulkar and seeing how they go. And I think New Zealand cricket owe a lot to IPL and the format of 2020 cricket.
Over the 15 years that the league has been run, it has become the largest cricketing league in the world. It has been given an exclusive window in the schedule of the ICC Future Tours program, which helps schedule international games. Because of the focus on the tournament matches, only a few other international games take place simultaneously during IPL. That's the power of IPL. In October 2021, 2 new teams of Lucknow Super Giants and Gujarat Titans were added to the IPL for a bid of 7,000 plus crores and about 5,625 crores respectively. Wow! And the next year, IPL's media rights were up for a bid, and they were sold for an astonishing 48,000 plus crores. That's close to $6.2 billion at that point. An unprecedented sum in Indian broadcasting. Just for comparison, the entire state budget for the state of Goa in the financial year was just under 25,000 crores. With such massive sums of money flowing in, players participating in the leagues were the biggest beneficiaries. About 10,000 plus crores have been spent just on players' salaries in IPL since 2008. How can we forget? Just recently, in 24 IPL auctions, Mitchell Starc broke an all-time record, being bought by KKR for 24.75 crores, a record set by his fellow Australian and the World Cup winning captain Pat Cummins in the same auction.
Newest member to the Kolkata team at 24 crore and 75 lakh, sold. What a welcome back for Mitchell Starc.
While IPL is the only cricket league in the top 40 sports leagues in the world for business turnover by doing an annual revenue of more than 10,000 plus crores every year. But the other T20 leagues around the world have also contributed towards the commercialization of cricket. Together, the top leagues including BBL, the 100, CPL, the PSL, the BPL or the recent starter MLC, etc. generate less than half of the revenue as compared to IPL every year. But isn't that good news for cricket? It is not that the money that has been flowing in the IPL has helped BCCI come to the forefront of the cricketing world. It has consolidated an already strong position of BCCI. In a comment by Harsha Bhogle in a Business Today article, he said, and I quote, "Purely from a financial implication, The arrival of the IPL is the biggest tipping point since it moved the balanced away from 2 to 3 established powers towards India. Well, power follows where money comes. Truly explained by Mr. Bhogle. Besides bringing in the money, the advent of T20 leagues has catalyzed a transformative shift in the cricketing landscape, offering a dynamic platform that extends beyond the boundaries of traditional cricket formats. The leagues have helped creating a global platform for emerging talent. Leagues have also accelerated learning curve for youngsters while playing with leaders of the sport. Isn't mentoring by seasoned professionals another validation of the leagues? Well, I completely agree with this. Also, playing in global leagues give exposure to diverse playing conditions. That has helped players get better while playing for their country. And lastly, but most importantly, leagues have become a springboard to national selection. Isn't that true? Giving context through Indian cricket's journey in last few years, the rise of IPL has led to another major phenomenon, the discovery of a shortcut to international cricket instead of the classic domestic circuit route. While in the past, players would spend years locking on Ranji circuits before making their way up to the A and B teams and then finally making it to the national stage. Before the IPL came around, it was tough for the players to make it to the top level as the ease of access was pretty limited and there were many contenders for just a 15-16 member squad of the Indian team. Things, however, have changed with IPL as it gives new talent a platform to shine. I asked former cricketer Stuart Binney if it was easier now to reach the international stage than it was in his time, and he said,
I wouldn't say easier, it's just quicker, I guess. You get there quicker than for example, me playing 10 years of Ranji Trophy cricket and then getting an IPL opportunity. But now if you have one good domestic season and backed up with another one and one good IPL season, you see guys playing in the Indian setup. So again, yes, it's definitely a lot shorter the period. Guys don't go through the grind as much as guys who were playing 10, 15 years back, who absolutely went through a rigid grind of first class cricket, Buchi Babu, tournaments, corporate tournaments, good Ranji Trophy season, good Mushtaq Ali season, then an IPL slot, good 2-3 years of IPL, then you get your shot or your call in the Indian setup. But now things have changed. It's so fast to see guys who've done well in one IPL playing for India, and you don't see a difference, I see. These guys play the same way in the IPL, and when they come to the Indian team, they're the same. They're fearless guys. So it's a shorter route, but success, I'm not too sure how long that lasts, because you need to be prepared under a lot of mental stress when you're playing international. It's easy to get into an Indian team, but getting there is the easiest thing. It's about sustaining, it's about playing 5, 6, 7 years for the Indian setup. That is what people are looking to do.
Another cricketing legend, Harbhajan Singh, talks to me about his early days of Ranji cricket and how times have changed since then.
उन दिनों खेलना बहुत मुश्किल था. Even to get into the Ranji squad was a very, very difficult thing. You see the teams of Delhi, Mumbai, all the big states, they had brilliant players. Karnataka, they were like 8 to 9 Indian players they were playing in the Ranji team. To get into that Ranji team was so difficult. तो हमारे पंजाब की अगर बात करूँ, when I played my first debut game for Punjab, my captain was Navjot Singh Sethi, then Vikram Rathore. वहाँ पे ऐसे दिग्गज खिलाड़ी और कई थे जहाँ मतलब मेरे जैसे बंदे को घुसना, टीम में आना, 16 में आना बहुत बड़ी बात है, 11 की तो बाद में बात है. But whereas now with so much of cricket happening around the world, there are so much of opportunity. People are playing in various leagues, in India, in England, in Australia. A lot of people are getting chances nowadays, which is a good thing. So this is how the cricket has evolved. कि वो सिर्फ आप रणजी के जरिए नहीं आते हो. अब आप अगर इंडियन प्रीमियर लीग में अच्छा करते हो, अब देखेंगे वहाँ से भी बहुत लड़के जो हैं वो इंडिया के लिए खेले हैं, and they have done well. You
talk about Hardik Pandya या फिर Jasprit Bumrah, they are probably these two prime example of Indian Premier League. They have produced some serious cricketers for India. So these leagues have actually helped a lot of cricketers.
And here is Jesse Ryder, the legend from New Zealand, commenting on how times have changed.
When I first started, it obviously probably wasn't as intense. And, growing up, the scoring rates have obviously taken off, especially with the T10 game and the T20 game. And even you look at test match cricket now, guys are going and run a ball, to me that's crazy because to me grafting out, batting the day was better for me than going out and smashing a runnable 80. But that's how much the game's changed, I think. These days, if you wanted to go down the T20 path, there's a lot of opportunities out there for young players.
And Mohammad Kaif had a very interesting viewpoint.
I think अभी मौके ज़्यादा मिलते हैं. पहले प्लेयर को इतना अपना टैलेंट शो करने के लिए ज़्यादा प्लेटफॉर्म शायद नहीं थे, ज़्यादा मौके नहीं थे. I remember my first class debut when I made my Ranji debut for UP. I made 13 runs in that game. First game against Bengal, I remember, in Kolkata. And I thought my career was over. I will never get a chance again. पर UP में था कल्चर कि एक मौका हो गया, कुछ नहीं किया, then that's it. दोबारा मौका नहीं मिलेगा. तो in my case, मुझे एक और मौका मिला क्योंकि I was playing for under-19 India. I went to South Africa. हमारा श्रीकांत सर कोच थे. When he came back, उन्होंने काफ़ी मेरा नाम लिया, मोहम्मद कैफ, काफ़ी टैलेंटेड है, इसको देखना चाहिए यूपी के लिए. तो एक मीडिया में काफ़ी हाइप थी मेरे बारे में. तो मुझे एक से ज़्यादा दोबारा मौका मिल गया और सेकेंड मैच में आई स्कोर्ड 100. अब मौके ज़्यादा मिलते हैं. अभी अगर आप रणजी नहीं भी खेल रहे हो, अगर IPL के थ्रू आपको जगह मिलता है, IPL के थ्रू आ सकते हो, एंट्री ले सकते हो. नहीं तो आप स्टेट के लिए रणजी खेल रहे हो, वहाँ बहुत रन बना रहे हो. इसे अब आप अच्छा खेलो, लोग आपको घर से उठा के लेके जा रहे हैं. स्काउटिंग के लोग इतना घूम रहे हैं हर जगह, उनकी निगाहें बिल्कुल ढूंढ रहे होते हैं कि भाई टैलेंट है कहाँ. तो ऐसा दौर आ गया अभी. पहले तो शायद आपको बोलना पड़ता भाई. मुझे याद है मेरे इलाहाबाद में हमारे एक दैनिक जागरण में थे, उनको हम 100 मारने के बाद उनके पास जाते थे शाम में, उनके प्रेस के पास कि सर 100 मारा है. मेरे पापा भी, फादर भी किया, 100 मारा है, इसका नाम डाल दो कल पेपर में. तो हमें 100 मारने के बाद मीडिया के पास भागना पड़ता था बॉस कि लेट द वर्ल्ड नो, लेट द सिटी नो कि बॉस ये मोहम्मद कैफ जैसा प्लेयर अच्छा कर रहा है ये क्लब मैचेस में. वो ज़माना मैंने देखा है.
There was a time when playing Ranji matches was a matter of prestige for players, and it was seen to be a level just below the national side as the stepping stone. However, there are quicker ways to reach the top now. S. Badrinath, who's played domestic cricket for Tamil Nadu, Vidarbha and Hyderabad and has over 10,000 runs in domestic cricket, tells me that things have changed since then.
For me to get the Tamil Nadu cap was not easy. I came in an era where Tamil Nadu team was a star-studded team. जब मैं टीम में आया था 2000 में, आज हमारा मणिपाल टाइगर्स का कोच रॉबिन सिंह मेरा पहला कैप्टन था. तो वो टीम में था. अब दूसरा कोच है हेमंग बदानी था, वो श्रीधरन श्रीराम था, श्रीधरन शरद था, रॉबिन सिंह था, टी कुमरन था, सड़गोपन रमेश था. सारे 5-6 प्लेयर जब तक इंडिया पे खेलते थे. जब मैं रणजी ट्रॉफी टीम में आया था तो रणजी ट्रॉफी टीम में आना मेरे को बड़ी मुश्किल बात था और बड़ी अचीवमेंट था. आई थिंक व्हेन आई स्टार्टेड प्लेइंग क्रिकेट देयर वाजंट मच क्रिकेट. इट वाज फर्स्ट क्लास. दैट वाज द रूट. यू हैड टू प्ले फर्स्ट क्लास. यू हैड टू प्ले दुलीप, दियोदर, ईरानी एंड देन गेट द इंडियन कैप. बट आजकल तो बहुत ज़्यादा T20 लीग्स भी आ रहा है और ये प्लेयर का माइंडसेट यही होगा ना. अगर स्टैर्स भी है, लिफ्ट भी है तो हम लिफ्ट ही पकड़ेंगे. चांस मिलेगा तो लिफ्ट मिलेगा तो अच्छा होगा, सीधा ऊपर जा सकते हैं. तो ये तो है. आई थिंक लाइक आई सेड, डोंट वांट टू कंपेयर और एनीथिंग, बट ऐसा ही बन गया है.
A similar impact has also been seen in women's cricket, as the Women's Premier League and the Big Bash have also started off in recent years. The media rights for the WPL were sold to the upwards of $100 million, and the 2023 edition of the event garnered the highest viewership of any women's event globally. This phenomena of players making it to the international platform quicker, not just in Indian context, but has become a phenomenon across all cricket-playing nations. Tilak Ratna Dilshan, the innovator of Dil Scoop, talks to me about his early days as a cricketer in Sri Lanka and how he made it to the national side.
I still remember when I watched 1996 World Cup winning. Entire village we have one TV, that also no power, we had to put the battery and put the wire to TV. I used to play 5 years first class, and every 5 years I had to get 1,000 runs from first class. Then I got opportunity to play Sri Lanka A. Still I had to fight Sri Lanka A 2 years and get a chance. 1999, that also Arjun and Arvind take the break that tour. Then I got opportunity. Now, without playing any, some players without playing any 5 first class matches, they are getting a national cap.
Because of T20.
And national cap. And hardly say some guys retire early and play T20 and T10 and all the leagues happening all over the world. But still, that how we players taking from themselves. I want to play a long game more. We have to shorten and play shorter format. Depend on that, but still some good players like to play Test cricket.
Perhaps the best person who summed up this league conversation was S. Srishant, who weighs on the fact that leagues have in fact helped cricketers get the limelight they deserve, while also stressing on the importance of playing in the leagues.
I am old school, so I will say I'll still win that matches for your club. Play those company matches, play for your state, because if the base is really good, then when you come to the league, you get more respect. There are certain few cricketers who just plays the league and then gets into the country. But if you look at their history also, they have played first class, they have done extremely well. And whoever does well, especially in a league like IPL or any other leagues across the globe, when they play for the country, it's not the same intensity, I believe, because it's of experience. Yes, thanks to all the leagues that, and a guy from nowhere comes, gets the main wicket, and he's everywhere.
With the IPL, the big bucks not only come to the BCCI, but also to the players, as we all know. A member of the playing 11 in a Ranji match makes up anywhere between 40,000 to 60,000 a day based on their experience. In contrast to this, IPL contracts start at a base price of 20 lakhs for uncapped domestic players. Financially, IPL and other T20 leagues are way more lucrative compared to what domestic cricket offer anywhere in the world. Double World Cup winning player and star cricketer Gautam Gambhir weighs in on how these leagues offer way better financial security for cricketers today than compared to his time in the domestic circuits.
If you see in today's day and age, you always have far more opportunity as compared to what it was in 1990s. And for me, I think it's always a blessing that when you've got more opportunities, because you've got to realize it's not only about opportunities, it's about probably financial security as well. As a sportsman, imagine 15 years back, how much financial security did a sportsman have? But if in today's day and age, it's LLC, it's IPL, you see see what BCCI does and all that stuff. So I think at the moment, I'm pretty happy that the kind of facilities what BCCI has generated and created for the new generation. And that's why cricket has become a religion in India.
The BCCI too is feeling the heat of it now. Earlier this year, BCCI Secretary Jai Shah announced that all contracted players will have to be taking part in Ranji cricket. A letter was sent across to the players saying that there is a major cause of concern over the trend of players skipping Ranji matches and prioritizing leagues. Mr. Shah minced no words when he said, and I quote, "Nakhre nahi chalenge." There will be no excuses when it comes to participation in Ranji cricket. While the lure of cash and glamour in limited over leagues and white ball cricket is attractive, the BCCI is doing everything in its might to preserve the institution of Ranji cricket in India, thereby protecting the domestic cricket circuit of India. Much like Ranji in India, players all over the world seem to be drifting towards franchise cricket and prioritizing it over domestic leagues. There has always been a dilemma between taking the long route to success versus going where the money is. there are advantages, but then there are drawbacks as well. Nobody perhaps sums it up as well as Hashim Amla himself.
It's a very tough decision to make. So it has done that. The leagues have certainly done that. What it also has done, I mean, I look at, the leagues that every country that has a T20 league, the youngsters are making the national team much quicker because they're getting recognized in these leagues. So it's a quick, acceleration from just playing domestically into international cricket. It's great in one side, and it's also challenging for that player on the other side. Sometimes player may get exposed very early and, live the stardom of being in the national team. And then inevitably you're going to have some challenging times, and you have to have some sort of strong structure or strong cricketing ethos that you've had built up that you can kind of fall on. So, that's the challenges.
Wearing the national colors on your jersey is always the biggest driving factor when it comes to playing cricket. That's what most of the legends have always told me. A moral question now arises that is it okay to take cricket as a money-making profession rather than thinking of it as something that you do to represent your country? I had a conversation with former West Indian fast bowler Tino Best about this.
I think what has happened now is that there are more avenues to be successful. And I think that's good. That's a good thing. You may have a guy that may not be able to make the West Indies team, but he's playing first-class cricket and he goes to a league and he does well. And all of a sudden he's become the highest paid cricketer in the IPL, and now he's about to play for his national team. So I don't think that the national pride is gone and the guys are not passionate because of the money. I think guys have a more of an avenue to be successful, and I think that is very healthy for any sport. It's like the NBA, it's like the NFL. When a guy don't get drafted, he goes and play in the Canadian Football League. When a guy can't make the Premier League in England football, he goes somewhere else and play in India and build his craft. He go to Japan, he go anywhere. So from an economic standpoint, I think sports have evolved, and it's evolved tremendously.
Much has changed over the 180-year-old journey of cricket. Domestic cricket has evolved with time. Leagues have arrived and changed the game. However, should cricketers prioritize white ball cricket over red ball cricket? Or is the classic way of going through the domestic grind and playing the longer format the only correct way of making one's way to the top? Stay tuned with me on 180 Not Out as we discuss this in detail in our next episode.
From humble beginnings, it started as a game. A battle ball, a field, and players with no fame. But little did they know, cricket would soon ignite a passion that would last through day and night. 180 not out, we're going strong.